You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Something is recording?
We're recording. Something is really weird is happening. Apparently we got a drum thing.
What?
I've never seen this happen before.
Is this on? Is this on
our record? Yeah, this is on. We record on a program called Zencastr. It's very good, actually. I would highly recommend it to anybody who wants to do kind of recordings from a distance. We found it during the pandemic, this program. And I guess they added music that gets activated by pressing certain numbers on the keyboard accidentally. I was trying to rename a file, and I accidentally made drums go. And before, I was trying to figure out, because I didn't know where this came from, because there was like dramatic piano music that played, and we were laughing before it started. And then it happened again. And yeah, I just have to stop touching keys, I guess. I don't. This is a lot. Anyway,
what's happening?
Yeah, we'll get back to it here. I also have because of my new setup, the second screen I use is on the left side instead of the right. But to get to the second screen for my first screen, I still have to cursor over to the right. So that's also causing me problems. It's the opposite. We've got some fan questions, Taylor, this week. We're doing a short episode today, but we got some fun fan questions, which is always great. Some of them are really directed to you, which is nice because I can just play intermediate and moderator and just ask you the hard
sound effects
questions.
Apparently.
Yeah, I've got sound effects. I don't even want to know what intro/outro is, because now that I'm looking around, I see it. I see drums, I see ballpark. I think I deleted piano in my fury of trying to get these sounds to stop, but I see outro, intro, which I haven't clicked on yet, so I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll try that right at the end of the episode. We'll let the outro lead us out. But for now, let's get to some fan questions. I am 90% sure this is a fake name, but we'll see.
Don't be mean.
No, I'm.
What if it is
positive.
Their real name?
Oh, it could be. So this is for you, Taylor. Taylor, in your most recent review, I was just thinking about Dracula in movies and TV history. I do find that I have favorites of my own, but I would be really curious to see who your favorites are who've ever played Dracula in TV or movie form. And that's from Vlad from Transylvania.
Okay. Yeah, that's from Dracula himself, apparently. Hi, Vlad. I'm like probably really basic. I like Gary Oldman's portrayal of Dracula. I think
have you liked others, or is he the gold standard for you? Like no one has surpassed him. It's just him. Everyone else is only okay.
I think his is kind of like, I'm sure, the Father Quirks would say like Bela Lugosi's portrayal is like the benchmark. Personally, I feel like Gary Oldman, in modern times at least, that's going to be the benchmark in terms of performance. Like right. I will say though, he's not, I have such an attachment to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Because I don't think it's a book accurate depiction. Like I don't find Gary Oldman's portrayal particularly evil. Like it's more he's a tortured romantic soul that is, kills out of necessity and less out of evil. But I feel like I'm summarizing that with like rose-colored glasses. Whereas Nosferatu, Mike, the Skarsgård, but which Skarsgård was in Nosferatu?
That was
not
Pennywise Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Bill. Bill Skarsgård?
Bill feels more like evil. Like he's there's still kind of that like romantic shade of his performance because of his connection to his love interest, but he definitely feels evil, whereas I feel like Gary Oldman is definitely playing like the dashing romantic, tortured romantic soul. So anyways, Gary Oldman's my favorite, although I think the Scar Nosferatu is a very good portrayal. I would just say it's kind of separate because it's Nosferatu, not Dracula, even though technically it's the same IP. And then I mentioned this maybe like several weeks ago now. At some point, we were talking about vampires, and people had, I think it might have been you and Father Quirk and I. Neither of you had heard about this. Jonathan Rhys Meyers' short-lived 2 seasons TV show called Dracula.
Yeah. He did that after The Tudors?
Yes. Like, yeah. I think like right afterwards. So I have not revisited that show since 2013, but I really loved it and was quite upset when it was canceled. So those would be my 2, Gary Oldman and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. And for a more evil, like a more traditional, like scary, like vampires are bad, not just sexy, would be the Skarsgård's Nosferatu. So those are my picks.
Yeah, that's it's funny to hear you describe the kind of, technically same character, different character. That's the most comic book fan you've ever sounded like. Where you're just like, well, technically Nosferatu is same IP, but like different character. so I'm glad you made that differentiation. I'm going to remember that next time we're talking about Marvel.
The only thing I take seriously is like, essentially
vampires.
Dracula, vampire lore.
Yeah, that's fair. And Hannibal. You like Hannibal?
Yep. I would like to see Mads Mikkelsen play a vampire. I think he could play Dracula.
Well,
I'd watch that.
That could work. Next question comes from Carla, who says, if you could bring back one TV show from the dead for a perfect modern reboot, what are you choosing and why? I've personally enjoyed some, but not all, of the TV reboots that I've seen, but there are definitely a few shows from my past, for example, Goosebumps, that I would love to see return in a more modern take. I haven't really enjoyed the Goosebumps movies. I would really love a TV show that follows along the different tales from the books. And that's from Carla. So do you have a TV show that you want to bring back from the dead?
That's a tricky one because I don't think modern reboots are that good, or like I'm not like particularly interested in them. They were gonna bring back Buffy. It was gonna be a modern reboot. It was axed.
That got canceled.
Yeah, they filmed the pilot and it was not picked up by, and it sounds a little contentious if you read the Sarah Michelle Gellar, right?
Yeah,
Sarah Michelle Gellar. It sounds like it was not a good working experience. I don't know what studio they were partnered with.
Yeah, I don't know because it's all new now. Like it's moved on from Joss Whedon, like stuff. It's somebody else, and mergers and all that stuff. So it's somebody else. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride with some of these reboots because I have been enjoying Scrubs. Like I thought the Scrubs kind of reboot has been very well done. But I don't know if I can name another. Like I'm not too sure if I can name another one that I was this was well done.
I did enjoy The King of the Hill. So that's funny. I wasn't thinking about cartoons.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned this.
Works.
I think we mentioned on our last mailbag. I would love to see, speaking of Hannibal, I would love to see Hannibal come back, but not as a reboot, as like a continuation.
Yeah.
Because it was canceled before Brian Fuller could finish the story he was telling. I think he definitely wanted to do a 4th season and possibly a 5th. I wouldn't mind, to be fair, as much as I loved the Hannibal series, it diverged a lot from the source material. So I wouldn't mind seeing another stab at that IP. I know they tried to do a Clarice show because that's an interesting IP where one studio owns the rights to one character and then another studio owns the rights to other characters because of Silence of
Right.
the Lambs and like
Yeah.
how the movies were produced and stuff. So they tried to do I think it was called Clarice, and it wasn't allowed to include the Hannibal name, I think. So anyways, it'd be interesting if they were able to reboot that, but you know what? Don't make it in 2026. Make it as if it was in the 80s. That's what I would
Yeah.
like to see.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could see that. I have an answer to this, which is interesting because I've just been more thinking about this short-lived TV show recently. Animorphs. I would love to see them give that another go
With
because that
our
was a
current
TV.
CGI.
Yeah, like with a better budget and better writing, because I think those books for being like kid books are quite dense, and if you just wrote the story out on a piece of paper, that's quite frightening what happens, and it's intriguing and there's suspense to it. Like I think you could do a more modern take, and we've seen other shows about like aliens taking over the planet slowly or quickly, that I think have gone well. So I think this kind of show, you don't never know who to trust, kind of again around a group of teens trying to figure out what to kind of do. You know, one teen getting stuck in the body of an animal forever. Like all those things I think have a lot of value to it as a story. And I think they could do a better job than they did. So, you know, if they're bringing back Harry Potter, and there's another show that's getting, I can't remember, another show from my childhood that's getting a series on Disney Plus, but I don't remember what it is.
They're
But
doing Greta Gerwig is redoing
Narnia, yeah,
Narnia, but I think
for
those are
Netflix.
movies, not
Those are movies
TVs,
for, yeah,
right?
they're movies for Netflix, I think.
I'm gonna
But it's a series of them. Like she's doing multiple movies.
Yeah, she's gonna do all the books. I'm gonna jump on. Was it Carla who wrote in?
Yes.
I never would have thought about Goosebumps, but I would be interested in in an adult Goosebumps. So because we grew up
What was
with
that?
the IP,
Tales from the Crypt, or what? Wasn't that?
yeah, but
Tales
that
from
was
the
kind of
Crypt?
funny.
Oh, was it?
Like
Okay.
it had like humor in it, didn't it? I feel like Goosebumps
Yeah, I don't remember.
was scary. Like it was
Yeah,
supposed to
it was
be,
kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark, right? Like they
yeah.
were scarier tales, but for teens. Yeah.
Yeah, I would watch a horror anthology. Each week, the episode was different, but catered for our tastes.
Did you watch any of the rebooted Twilight Zone from a couple years ago?
No. Was it good?
There were some good episodes. That was like Jordan Peele
Yeah.
produced it, and he played like the host. It was kind of hit and miss. There were a couple episodes that weren't great, but there were some that were very, very well done. And almost every episode featured a actor you'd recognize,
Right.
generally from TV, like a lot of TV actors, but people you would recognize from hit sitcoms and TV series were all in there, and I thought that was relatively well done. So something like that, I think could work. But I think, yeah, I think you got to be careful. Things can get stale and weird, but I think Goosebumps is a good one though. You've got so many books that it's a good one to go off of.
If this isn't really answering this question, because it's not, it's kind of, I would say, in a hiatus. I don't know if they're going to release another season. Netflix rebooted Unsolved Mysteries, and they've put out 2 or 3 collections of episodes. And not all the episodes were super great, but pump me with Unsolved Mysteries. I will take any Unsolved Mysteries that you'll give me. And for a time, they were producing a podcast as well, and then the podcast just like suddenly ended. So give me more Unsolved Mystery episodes on Netflix and as a podcast. I will listen to as many Unsolved Mysteries as you can give me.
I'm not familiar with that one, actually.
What?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Unsolved Mysteries.
You didn't grow up watching Unsolved Mystery reruns? So
no.
It's true stories like that are unsolved, whether it's like a murder or someone's gone missing, paranormal, so like, you know, separated at birth, lost loves, treasure. And it was in the 90s, and they tried to if there was a victim of the crime, often, and if they were still alive or if they were interested, they would reenact the crime.
Oh.
I can't believe you didn't watch any Unsolved
No,
Mysteries.
no, this yeah, it doesn't ring a bell at all. No,
Oh,
I didn't even know it rebooted. Like I didn't
and they
know
would
any of that.
do updates. So if a crime had been solved, because they had a 1-8, actually it still exists, a 1-800 number, because the show is still on reruns. So you can call in with tips to solve the mysteries, and people's tips have solved mysteries. I know I'm sounding really nerdy, but I'm a huge Unsolved Mysteries fan. Great show.
Okay, very cool. I maybe I'll check it out. Next question comes from Jason, who says, listening to your review of Send Help always makes me think, where could I survive in the world of television and movies? Which fictional world would be the absolute worst place to get trapped in? Would you pick Euphoria, Daredevil's Hell Kitchen, Scrub's Sacred Heart Hospital, or Dracula's Castle?
To actually survive.
Yeah, like how to survive. I mean, Scrub's Sacred Heart Hospital would just, I mean, it's like a comedic world.
Yeah, that's definitely where you would survive.
Though, I don't know if you ever heard of, I know I've talked about this show. Kevin Can Go F Himself, I think is what it's called. And it's
the girl from Schitt's Creek.
And it's basically half of, from her perspective, it's shot like a TV drama, and from his perspective, it's shot like a TV rom-com, like
I didn't know that
sitcom. Yeah, and it's like, and it goes back and forth from their perspectives, and she absolutely hates him. Like she's absolutely like just hates this guy because he lives in a sitcom-y world where every gets a laugh, all his horrible things. But when, from her perspective, the horrible things he does is like heart-wrenching.
Right.
And it's this weird,
he's got main character syndrome.
Yeah. So I feel like being in Scrub's hospital would actually feel a lot like that.
I don't know. If I was like I was just like, you're the orderly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
whatever.
It might be I feel like it'd be fun for a day, and then you'd get.
Because it's not like in, oh my gosh, Grey's Anatomy, where, airplanes are crashing into the hospital and they're having like terrorist attacks and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's never happened.
It's just a regular hospital. What were the other ones? So Daredevil. I don't know enough about that show. I'm assuming there's it's a superhero show, so I'm assuming there's like bad people. But if you're just like a barista at the cafe
in Hell's Kitchen in New York, you're just like, hey,
yeah.
Like it depends who I was. Like I wouldn't mind it to a certain degree, but yeah, I think it's tough because there's a lot of vigilantes, there's a lot of crime. That would be pretty rough place. The other options were Euphoria or Dracula's Castle.
Again,
Euphoria would be really tough to survive in. Like that world is rough.
If you're just like a normal high school student,
I don't know. These people suck you into their drama. That's the problem. I feel like they're just, there's a million.
You would physically survive, but maybe not emotionally.
Physically, yes.
Don't do the drugs.
Yeah, like you're not in any physical danger in Euphoria. You are almost everywhere else. A lot of bad things can happen at a hospital. Like if you're there, are you sick? Because I wouldn't want Scrubs to be the people. I'd want Dr. House if I was really sick to solve whatever I had. I don't want the Scrubs people. Like that's not gonna work. I think it's more of a mental strain being in Euphoria.
I'm not gonna survive Dracula's Castle because
that would be the most, I would say, difficult to survive like one night.
Like he is going to murder you.
Mm-hmm.
That's his MO. Unless you're his lost love, like, no, you're not going to survive the night at Dracula's castle. And like, let's face it, we're not like Van Helsing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have our vampire murdering kit.
I'd try to be though. I absolutely would try.
You would?
Yeah. Give it a
shot. Nope. I'm a willing victim in this scenario. Make it quick. Or
wood is pretty common. Like you can find wood anywhere, like that's pretty common. All you need is a stake.
You could game the system and say like, turn me. and then you live forever.
Would you want that though? I feel like
No,
that's
I
soul
would not.
torturing. Yeah.
No. Also,
Yeah.
I think it would go against my religious beliefs. I'd
Yeah.
have to ask Father Crick on that one. But I,
Yeah. Yeah. I would.
I don't think you could be willingly a vampire's victim to like become a vampire.
Isn't that a thing though, where they have like people who want to become vampires, so they end up just becoming like human servants, and they
Yeah,
keep because in what you do in the
100%.
shadows, what we do in the
Yeah.
shadows, that TV show, they each have like, or some of them have a human companion who they just want to be a vampire, but they're never going to turn these people.
La
But it's like,
Familia.
yeah, is that what it is? Okay,
Yeah.
So that's probably more likely what would happen.
Yeah, I would just be made their lackey.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to another one here. We got we got time. Okay. This next one is from Marcus. And Marcus says, "Oh, okay. If you had to trust one questionable fictional character from a movie you've reviewed recently, who would it be and why?" It's a really tough one. A questionable character? So this is an
Like
untrustworthy character, but you
an
have to trust them.
an unreliable character.
Nobody from Send Help. I wouldn't trust any of them.
I don't even know. Speaking of, he mentioned
or The Long Walk, to mention that movie I just reviewed last week.
Well, it sounds like the end guys were
yeah, I
friends,
guess so.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. I will say this. That was part of The Long Walk, because no one did anything to, unlike the Hunger Games, to like hurt the other person. They wanted everyone to last as long as possible, so they were all like helping each other. So maybe the group from Long Walk, I'd probably trust them. And they're also, they know they're going to die, so they're just telling the truth. They got nothing to lose. So yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go with them.
I don't even know. I can't. Speaking of not being able to remember the movies we review.
Yeah, what have you reviewed recently?
Yeah, let me...
Oh, I see you in the document.
Yeah.
You're going like, oh, what did I?
Dracula, Love Tale. Well, I would.
Roommates.
I would. Oh yeah, that would be tricky because they're kind of at each other's throats. I could pick the nicer of the two, Adam Sandler's daughter. Mm-hmm. I would trust her. She's more trustworthy than the other one. Unreliable narrator. Yeah,
which is an interesting. You get an interesting thing, because even another movie I reviewed recently, The Drama. I would say those two people, it's kind of about discovering truths in each other and telling the truth. But there are moments where, as an audience member, you get like their innermost thoughts or their fears, and it's played as if it's part of the movie, so it's unreliable in that way. But as characters, they're not necessarily unreliable. Like, they're kind of telling the truth now, and that's becoming sort of part of the issue in that movie. But again, they're not great people. So most people in the movies I've watched recently kind of suck.
Yeah, like why do we have to trust the unreliable narrator? They're unreliable for a reason. They're not.
Yeah, the people I would trust are the reliable ones, like Ryan Gosling's character from Project Hail Mary is a trustworthy character, right? So they're not unreliable; they're trustworthy. It's hard when picking. I wonder where this question came from. I would love to know where this question came from.
What movie were you watching that
Marcus?
You're like, I identify with the
Marcus, I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, like what movie did we either mention that you watched? Did you think, oh, but I would trust this person even though they're unreliable?
So, in terms of unreliable, if I'm understanding the question, the idea that like you're following a character, especially like you could be reading a book, and it's the character's point of view. I just saw a reel about Lolita, for instance, and the book is from the perpetrator's point of view, and people misunderstand the point of the book because the perpetrator is the protagonist, and so they see it as like it's like glorifying his actions or like romanticizing his actions, when really like he's an unreliable narrator. Mm-hmm. And if you're like really reading the book, you would know that he was a monster, right? So that's what I'm thinking of. But in terms of most recent, even though this was back in the wintertime, Bugonia has two main characters. Did you end up watching Bugonia, Mike?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's, are you going to trust Emma Stone's character, who seems like a little nefarious, or are you going to trust Jesse Plemons' character, who seems a little unstable?
Yeah, that's tough.
Those are the only people you have to choose from, and you have to.
That's tough,
right?
Probably Jesse Plemons' character, because he may be unstable, but he's
right.
on the right track, and he was right. So, like, I lean a little bit more towards him, but on the surface, I think you would trust Emma Stone's character. And I think that's kind of the point the movie's making as well, which you would trust her character, but that's the wrong choice in the end, which is interesting.
But also, if Donnie had trust her fully, he would have got to go with her at the end of the movie.
That's right.
So maybe actually again, that's tricky, because like she didn't want to expose her true identity. But you know what I mean? Like, if you stuck with her to the end, you get to go to their cool. I don't want to ruin the movie, because there is like that's
it's been out for a long time.
Okay,
but,
pause here if you haven't seen the ending of Bugonia. If does she kill Jesse Plemons, or
she kills him? Doesn't his bomb go off?
But it was like an accident, right? Or was
I thought she set him up. Like to go into this closet.
Yeah,
and
so you need to trust. Then you need to trust Jesse Plemons in this case.
Yeah,
his character. Because I'm thinking of Donnie's character, where like in the end he would have got to go to space with her. Mm-hmm. But I see what you're saying. She never she never intended to bring either of them to space.
No, and it was sort of suggested that they were already going to get rid of Earth, and she was going to leave, and anyways, and like he was just correct this whole time, which is kind of wild. But yeah, like I think you could never trust her, because she just wasn't going to do it. So yeah, I feel like at least as off-putting as he is, and kind of like not really stable, he wasn't wrong, and it's not like he was being dishonest. He was trying to get to the bottom of it, just going in a very negative, bad way. So, yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That's our quick dissection of Bugonia. And there you go. That's our fan questions for this week. Thank you again to everybody for listening and for sending in your fan questions. If you want to send in more, we'll get to them as we can. soul1arts.ca. Just go to the podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll take your questions from there.
Go see some movies.
Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit soul1arts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting soul1arts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.